Welcome to the studios of newskarnataka.com, and today is Women's Day, and we have the pleasure of having Mrs. Ghayathri as our guest in the studio. We wish you a warm welcome on this very auspicious and very important occasion for all women in our country. May I request Kenute, our fellow director, to welcome you with a bouquet of flowers.
Welcome. Thank you.
Mrs. Ghayathri is the zonal head and the general manager of Mangalore zone of the Bank of Baroda. And she has had 35 years of service in the banking sector. I think she joined Bank of Baroda in 1986, am I right? Yes, and she has been with Bank of Baroda all her life, and her journey has been very interesting. We'll discuss that later. But she knows banking in and out and how women can be empowered through banking. And that's why we have her in our studio, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, I would request Mrs. Ghayathri to release our magazine, which is a monthly English magazine called Karnataka Today. I request her to release it.
Hold it.
This is the latest issue, and I'm sure you'll enjoy reading it once we get it to you, which will be shortly. So today, as I already mentioned, is International Women's Day. And it's a very special occasion because we celebrate women on this particular day. Not only we celebrate women, we also pledge to work harder. Both men and women, we pledge to work harder for their emancipation and for their empowerment. Now, International Women's Day is celebrated on March 8th, and this time the theme of the celebration is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. This actually calls for climate action for women by women. It's a very significant theme. But to us in India, there are a lot more other issues that we may have to deal with. It's an occasion to highlight these issues and that the women face in our modern world. So just to get you a perspective, I would like to get into some statistics, just a few, so that we have an overall picture of what's actually happening in India. Now, over a period of time, the women have grown in strength and in their power, and they have been emancipated, and they are a significant part of the workforce today. But it's not always been like that. And we also need to look at the future in perspective. See, now by 2050, we'll have 1.6 billion people in our country. We'll be the most populous nation in the world. And we are expected to have only 48.1% of women in that population, which is significant because it's a skewed sex ratio, and it's much less than the 990 to 1000 ratio that is there in the world. Now, there are many issues in this regard, but one of them is infant mortality and so on and so forth, which are being addressed, obviously. Now, the labor force of which you are a part, and which so many of us are a part, expected to touch around 800 million. But the quantity of the women in that labor force is just 20%. It needs to grow. So we need to do something about it. What is interesting is that in leadership roles, just 3.7% are CEOs and managing directors are women. And they account for about 13.8% of the board of directors in various companies. Just 8.9% of the firms have women in top management. You are one of them.
Thank you.
And of course, there is a pay gap, but this pay gap is not necessarily in the organized sector, but it's mostly in the rural sector or the unorganized sector, where the women earn just 65.5% of the male population. Now, these are some quite alarming statistics, but they have improved over time. And what is interesting to note is that women are doing great in higher education. In fact, the undergraduate degrees, 53% are women. In the MPhil degrees, 69.6% are women. And in the PhDs, which is the apex, 41.8% are women. So actually the men don't study more, it's the women who study more. And one more interesting statistic that I want to highlight is that women are 31% of the chief human resources officers in the organized sector today. Now that's where all the policies are made. And 31% of chief human resources officers is a very good beginning so that women-friendly policies can be made. Public representatives, that means the political power. We have 3.1 million representatives across India, right from the Panchayati Raj. And 43% of them are women. Of course, there is, it's mandated at the lower levels. Of course, there's just 14.4% in Parliament, but that's growing, as you will know. So things are improving, and definitely we have a lot to look forward to, both the women and the men, obviously. But the banking sector is one of the most vibrant sectors and is at the forefront of the empowerment of women. And today I would like to discuss how the banks are actually empowering women and what they plan for the future. But before all that, again I would like to say welcome Mrs. Ghayathri, and I would like to ask you the first question that I would like to ask you is, how was your journey? You have been in the bank for 35 years. As a woman, and in the banking sector, how has been your journey? Please tell us.
Good morning and namaste to all the viewers. I am very happy to participate in this program. Let me wish you all happy International Women's Day today, which is a very significant day for one and all, not only for the women, it is also for the men who journeys with the women. And having said that, let me introduce or give a short journey of with the Bank of Baroda, my beloved organization. I joined in this organization in 1986 as a clerk. I took my promotion in 1998 after 12 years, which is somewhat a big gap, because as I has to shoulder, I got married at the age of 21. After joining the bank, within a year I got married. So I want to first finish my household duties to have a comfortable platform to journey with, to take up the higher responsibilities. So then I got my scale 2 promotion within 5 years, and again another 5 years scale 3. Then I got my scale 4 in 2012, then AGM in 2015 and 17 in DGM, then in 20 general manager. And it is a very interesting and challenging journey, which my bankers helped me to come up to this level, and all my seniors and the colleagues helped me to in this journey. And it is a teamwork to achieve this level. And with this, so many challenges I had, because see, as a banker, the first challenge is you will be on transfer for every 3 years minimum. You cannot stay in a station for a period of more than 3 years in a branch. So it requires a lot of balancing, and you have to be very much ready for the dislocations and the challenges associated with it. Because when I got promoted to officer cadre, I was transferred to Ahmedabad from Tamil Nadu. मुझे एक शब्द भी हिंदी पता नहीं उस वक्त. Because in Tamil Nadu, in schools, they were not teaching Hindi on those days. So it was a great challenge for me to go to Ahmedabad, because new culture, a new language, additional responsibilities with the 2 small kids. So it was a very challenging step I took on that day. But today I am happy that I took that challenge. That's it.
One interesting thing that always comes back to you, is
Yes.
in your memory. Even after you retire, it will always come back to you.
Yes.
If you can share
Yes,
with us.
I'll share that. See, I was working in a rural branch as a branch manager. It is a branch called Kinathukadavu near Coimbatore. And we did a lot of surveys in that branch, because it's a rural place, so many SSGs we promoted. And when I got my promotion to scale 3, one SSG member came and congratulated me. And actually today she is no more, but with all this thing I remember her. See, she told me congratulations. Then I told her, what is there? Already I am doing the same work. In scale 2 or scale 3, it doesn't matter. So there's not much of to celebrate like that. I told that lady. But she, with all the wisdom, she is a literate lady, but with all the wisdom, she told me, Madam, this promotion may not be this thing to happy to you, but you have to reach the higher promotions through this promotion only. On that day, I never thought I would be a general manager for this great bank. But on that day, that lady told me, she dreamed that I'll reach some higher position on a later date. And she told, through this channel only you have to reach that position, madam. So please be happy, like that she told. So I always remember that, see, even a illiterate lady also, how she has the wisdom that and desire that I will reach one great position on a later day. That is always it remembers.
Correct. That's true. And I'm sure when you have traveled across India, you have met so many people in your professional role. You have met men, you have met women, and women from the rural background, women from the urban background, people who are affluent, people who are not so affluent. Over a period of time, have you seen changes?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
See, earlier women never even opened their mouth to ask anything, to come to the bank and to discuss about any
Financial
loans or any what are the different types of facilities they can avail or different types of accounts they can open. So they never interact much. They will come and they will put entry, then they may go. But now it is not so. They want to understand what are the facilities the government is giving to them, what they can use, how they can make their life in a better financial planning, and how to use a banking source for their upliftment, that they are now very educated and they want to do it. Even rural women are also very enterprising nowadays. They want to understand it.
Yes, there are a lot more entrepreneurs as compared to earlier days. I just wanted to ask you, in the bank, you were in the Bank of Baroda, the number of women when you joined and the number of women that you see now employed in the bank, has there been a increase?
Yes, definitely it has been increased. If I see, earlier a branch will have only 1 or 2 ladies.
Okay.
Now at least 30% is ladies minimum. In some branches it goes up to 50-60%. But on average, even in our zone, we are having 27% women employees in Mangalore zone, which covers 23 districts of Karnataka state. Okay. So earlier it is very less, but now it has become very improving, and in cities like Bangalore and in Kerala especially, women are nearly 50%. Actually, I was heading the DGM, regional manager post of Kerala region. At that time, entire state was a single region, 111 branches we were handling, and 55% of the workforce is women employees.
That's remarkable, very remarkable.
And if I remember, when I went from AGM post to DGM post, at that time Mr. Mehta was our AD. That sir specifically put me in Kerala so that the other women folk or employees may try for the higher responsibilities. So he posted me at Kerala to where the women employees are more, because see what happens, the women, even though they join clerical level, they are comfortable because the timings are fixed. They may go from the office by 5:30, maximum 5:30. But when you go up in the ladder, the timings you have to adjust a lot, and you have to do. So the people may not be ready to take up that challenge. So what happens, even that also they are ready. After scale 2, the promotion going people are very less, because managing a branch is a very interesting and challenging job. So the ladies are somewhat shrinking that responsibility. And so sir told, no, you please go and see that the more women are opting for promotions. And today I remember sir, and I made that I feel that I made justice to that post, and we could make so many women managers at that time, and so many people got promoted also to the next cadre, and also I am happy about that posting.
Yeah, so taking off from the your last answer, I just want to know, I think, what are the factors that affect women from, going up the hierarchical ladder in organizations? Possibly it is work-life balance. The other one is possibly commitments, and without the support of the family, it may be a little difficult. So, what is your experience?
Sir, my experience first, the knowledge level. See, what
okay.
happens, I feel that is the most important factor rather than the other factors.
Okay.
See, what happens, even now, when we see that in studies, the women are more studious rather than the gents.
Yes.
But when it comes to the practicality, the application, women are somewhat, they have to improve, I feel. Because, see, what happens, once they are in the cocooned environment, they put all the dedicated efforts and they read, they study, they get good marks and all. But when you come into the open area of the implementation, you have so many challenges because it's a teamwork and you have to conduct the team in a very efficient and effective manner. For that, you should have the knowledge as well as the updation of the knowledge. See, what happens for a woman, she studies. But once she gets married or once she gets settled in other things, she is not updating her knowledge on a continuous basis. So that is one hiccup, major hiccup I feel. So women should get updated their skills always. That is one major factor. Second is they should have the networking abilities. See, because we have some socio restrictions also. We cannot move as easily as a man. Correct. As our culture and socio norms request maybe. Yeah, so that networking we should have in a proper correct manner so that we will receive information, we will disseminate the information and we will apply the knowledge into our working. And see, even in any this thing you please take, any industry or any field that is more required. So that is one women has to sharpen their skills and knowledge. Second is, as you rightly telling this, balancing your life and job profession. It's a very serious thing. But what happens, the family has also to help her. And she should make her family understand that she has to balance both. That is it. They have to understand it, that my mother or my wife is handling a important position which requires more of her energy. So the energy which she spends in house, it should be minimized so that she will spend that energy in office. That the entire family members should understand that. And I feel that I am lucky in that scenario. All have helped my children, even when they were small also, they never demanded anything from me. Instead, they supported me, my husband also. So that is one thing which is second, that is. And third is this traveling planning. Because when you go to the higher position, you have to travel a lot. Your job requires that. So always one suitcase should be ready for you. When you come in also, you should make the other suitcase ready so that when you have been called, you can immediately proceed for it. So these are, and believe me, when you are ready, everything will happen. The opportunities or the system will happen for you. Yes, it will work it. I will tell you a personal example. I was heading the Cochin regional office, Ernakulam regional office. At the time, I had to travel to Chennai for my zonal committee meeting. Some plan change happened for the meeting. They told the dates got rescheduled and all. So my secretary, that girl, got confused, and the onward ticket she booked 1 day later. And I also not seen the ticket. So I went to the airport and when I was giving the ticket to the guard, he was telling, "Madam, this is tomorrow's ticket. Time is 8 o'clock. And I checked with the other flights, there is only one more flight and it was booked fully. And that Guruvayur Express also would have left because there's no time to catch that train also. And because next day I have to attend that meeting at any cost. It was such an important meeting. So then I was thinking what to do, Karke. Then you do not believe, a boy came in and asked, his name is Rajkumar, he later told, "Madam, what are it Udhar we are going, what is up?" And I told, no, my flight is for tomorrow, but I have to reach Chennai, this is the problem. Then he told, I am having one friend, omni bus driver, I'll check with him. He immediately checked. And you do not believe me, there was only one seat vacant. And the bus also started. Then he told that driver, you please stop at the next stopping, I'll bring one madam to that stopping and you can accommodate her. Then they agreed, and he himself booked one call taxi and he dropped me at that point of where the bus stood, and I journeyed to Chennai. Why I am telling this now? When you are ready to take up the responsibilities, things will happen. The one more thing is taking up the responsibilities. That lady should be very, there they are having that shrinking. See, they are very good at taking the responsibilities at the micro level. Macro level responsibility taking up, they should do somewhat more, I feel.
I think most households in India are managed by the women. It's not the men who manage them. They always talk about Russia invading Ukraine and stuff like that. But at the grassroots level, I think it's the women who manage. Scaling up to the macro level, of course, it requires, as you said, knowledge. And I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they will be very good at managing money, because they manage it at home. Maybe at a larger level, it should be easier for them. So as they grow in the banking sector, I'm sure they'll be excellent bank managers. Over a period of time in the Bank of Baroda, you have handled many portfolios.
Yes.
Which has been the toughest one in terms of the challenges you faced, both as a professional and as a woman?
So one is my Dubai posting.
Okay.
It's an international posting, and it has to handle both the government's regulations. It is not only the Indian banking regulation, we have to follow the UAE banking regulations also, UAE central bank regulation also. So it was a very challenging post for me, and I learnt a lot. See, any cadre, it is a journey, and you have to learn and update. So it was a very eventful position for me to learn new things. I learnt it also, I enjoyed that. And the timings are also, it starts by 8 o'clock in the morning. Bankers, we know only starting time, ending time we don't. So again, it put some this thing also, because when you work more than 12 hours, you require more stamina and this thing. So that is a very challenging posting for me. But other posts, or even that also I managed. It is not that I didn't manage. We did a lot of work with according to compliance when I was there. But all other, every post, I feel that it is a opportunity for me to learn. One more thing, from my clerical cadre itself, always the bankers trained me with the next post. Even when I was a clerk, they have given me all the officers' duties. So when I became scale 1, they have given me the manager duties. So they trained me ahead of my promotion. So it was not much difficult for me to handle the post. But you learn so many cultures. Even now I am very happy at Bangalore, because I can visit so many temples and I can know the culture. See, there are so many different types of same functions, same rituals we will present in a different way in different parts of the countries. So I can enjoy all those things. So my one request to the ladies, don't shy away from transfers. Please accept it and enjoy it. And you will learn so many things when you meet people.
Absolutely. I think you broaden your horizon tremendously.
Yes,
and
yes.
once you broaden your horizon, what you contribute to your profession and what you contribute to the society is also tremendous.
Yes.
I wanted just to say, ask you about, just coming to the bank now, like over a period of time, the banking industry in general, how has it approached empowerment of women? Has that changed now, the approach? I'm talking about the approach.
Yes, sir. You see, earlier when I joined, most of the loans will be the agri-based loans, the IRDP loans, where you give sheep, cow, and the crop loans. Like that only our loans were there. Housing loans you never ever heard. And the vehicle loans also you never ever heard. But when it journeyed, and entrepreneur loans, only big people can get, who have some known managers or known connections, and already they have approved. For those people only the loans were being given in the industry side. But now you see, if you have a skill, even for startup, banks are ready to give. And it is only that you should have you should have the knowledge of the industry which you are going to start, and you should have some brilliant ideas to implement it. That's what the bank requires now. And the government has also did a lot of work in this, and the SSG movement is the greatest movement in this, because see, all said and done, still our rural population is more. And what to do with those women force in the ground level. So this SSG gives them an ample opportunities to get themselves acquainted with the regularized savings and regularized expenses and the regularized investments. So in that way, it has become a revolution. And if you see in our zone itself, we are having 70,000 SSG groups.
That's in Mangalore?
Mangalore zone alone, 70,000 plus SSG groups with 2,000 plus crores outstanding. So that one bank itself in one zone itself is this much. You think about the entire India, how it would have been. And really the rural women are now, they are creating income for their families out of this SSG movement, and they support their families also. Instead of seeing serials always, it has distracted them to earn something and to help the family. Then coming to the entrepreneurship, the government has also introduced the Stand Up India exclusively for women and the reserve category people. And we can get collateral free loans also under CGFT cover under Stand Up India. It is only you should have a entrepreneurial mindset to do the things. That is it. So bank is doing a lot for women empowerment, right from their employees to the customers. And we are having a special scheme for SB for women, Mahila SB scheme we are having. In that even you see, there are with some privileges we are giving in that scheme. Suppose 25% locker fee we are waiving. Then 25% concession in processing fee. Girl children are having a 0.5% interest concession in the educational loans. So the government and bank do a lot to make the women.
So the approach has completely changed now.
Yes, definitely the approach has completely changed. And earlier, if when I joined, out of 100 customers are entering into the bank, only 5 customers will be women customers. Now it is more than now, gents are not coming. Now women are only coming to the bank, I think. So it is a tremendous change.
On that question, I just wanted to, I use the mobile for my banking requirements. I hardly go to the bank. As you said, gents are not going. So even my wife doesn't go. Yeah. The thing is, I find that many women, from my interactions with people, that they are not very comfortable with using the mobile app and things like that. And so they are not fully getting the right information about the facilities available in the banks so that they can be empowered. Either it is not being given to them, or somebody is blocking it from them, or they themselves, as you said, not updating their knowledge enough to to grow further. So is that a sort of a hindrance for women?
So that is what
technology is growing, but you can't help that. But how does it work? I mean, how does it work for you all?
See, so that only we are also having a Bobbled app. Now everything we can do through mobile. Yeah. We are now making our women customers downloading that app, and we are helping them to do the first transaction. Or all the features available in that app, we are training them, so that once they have been trained, they will use it properly. So that we are taking all out efforts to do that. Not only for women, all customers we are doing, but as you rightly told, gents themselves will download and they will do it. Yes. In the women category, that too, particularly in the rural areas and semi-urban areas, it requires a push. Yes. So that we are doing, and we are making it up.
Indian economy is growing, the share of women in the economy is growing, and women are now learning to outperform men in all areas, including the armed services. Now they are in permanent commission. So how do you see the future of women in India?
Yes, sir, it is very growing and glowing. But the ratios are not great. See, as you rightly told, it is only 13% in the board. Even though the government made it mandatory that the firms which are having a paid up capital of 100 crores and turnover of above 300 crores should have a one director in the board. But the practicality is somewhat gap is there. And if at all they filling it up also their relatives or their known persons like that. So the future is great, but the women force should update themselves to reach up to that responsibilities and the levels. And they have to have self-power rather than empower, I feel. So why we have to be empowered? Let us have the self-power to reach up to this thing. But for that, maybe our DNA itself is we made to be trained in the micro level only to handle the macro level responsibilities. The women folk are not properly trained. So that training should be given to the women folk more. The government should give more opportunities of learning and training. And the women force should have the mindset of you have to practice and implement. That is what it is. If you do that, have the positive mindset, learn, practice, implement, the success is yours. See, I endured it, I enjoyed it, because whenever the targets have been given, most of the times I achieved my numbers with a sufficient margin also. So that my always, wherever I work, that place will catch the eyes of your higher management. Naturally it will do, because when your numbers are being projected with all people, so they will get it in their mind and they will give you the due promotions on the correct time. It is not this thing. But I feel the future India is a very, very, women role will be very great, and they will do more also, because now the urban area, all the girl children are given the opportunities to study, to take up more responsibilities, to do more things in a better manner. But the semi-urban areas and particularly the rural areas, we have to sensitize more, because still we are in the stage of Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. Because the rural areas are not having that much awareness or the inroad to the women empowerment, if I am to say precise. So if we concentrate on rural side somewhat more and bring them up also more, I feel that India will glow like anything with women empowerment.
I like the way you said it. Self-power is more important than empower, because when you look at, when you use the word empower, I would say men power, empower. So I like the word you used, self-power. And self-power is something that you can get by updating your knowledge. You can get by being positive in your mindset, and by saying that whatever be the challenge, I will face it. Just end this small talk on Women's Day with a small stanza from Rabindranath Tagore. He actually sums up the plight of women sometimes. Maybe it was a little in the past because things are changing today, but it goes like this. O Lord, why have you not given woman the right to conquer her destiny? Why does she have to wait head bowed by the roadside, waiting with tired patience, hoping for a miracle in the morrow? That is what he says. The miracle is coming. All you need to do is accept it, grab it, and go ahead. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ghayathri, for joining us at News Karnataka studio.
Thank you for this great opportunity. I wish everyone, both men and women, happy International Women's Day, and let us have self-power to conquer the world.
Absolutely. Thank you.